Good morning, students. Welcome to class 11. Myself, Shraddha Patel. In biology section, we have to study total 22 chapters which are divided into 5 units. Okay, so this is your unit 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Unit 1 is diversity in living world. This is your first unit. Your second unit is structural organization in plants and animals. Your third unit is cell, in which we are going to understand its detailed structure and function. Then comes your unit 4, that is plant physiology, and last is your 5th unit, which is very interesting to you people, that is your human physiology. So this is general description of your class 11 book. Okay, ये 5 units दिए गए हैं, in which total we are going to understand 22 chapters. Here we are starting with your unit 1, that is diversity in the living world. We are going to start unit 1, that is diversity in living world. See, in this unit total 4 chapters are given. In this unit total 4 chapters are given, that is living world. Second is your biological classification. Third one is your plant kingdom, and fourth one is your animal kingdom. Okay. From this, we are going to start with your chapter number 1, that is living world. So now we are going to discuss what? Living world. Before this, if you are preparing for NEET, right, do not panic. Simple remember that NEET is equal to your NCERT. That's it. This is one box. ओके सिंपली ये याद रखो, नीट की प्रिपरेशन मानी क्या? नथिंग बट स्टडी ऑफ योर एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट बुक. दैट्स इट. सो डू नॉट पैनिक एंड स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग. सो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट योर यूनिट नंबर 1. In this chapter we are going to understand following things, that is what is living. Second, we are going to understand diversity in living world. Then we are discussing your taxonomic categories followed by taxonomic aid. Okay, so your living world chapter comprises of this thing. Okay, what is living, that we are going to discuss bit later. Now taxonomic category, I guess you people have understood it before: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Okay, so in taxonomic categories we are going to discuss all this in detail. Kingdom kya hai, phylum kya hai, what is order, what is species, what is genus. I guess you people have also understood binomial nomenclature which was given by Carolus Linnaeus. वो भी यही चैप्टर में प्रेजेंट है. ओके, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस लास्टली आई हैव रिटन taxonomic aids. Taxonomic aids in the sense, in this we are going to understand your museums, your zoological parks, your botanical gardens as well as your herbarium. How taxonomy helps us. Okay, that comes under your taxonomic category. Now we are going to understand all these points one by one. So we are starting with your first point, that what is living. Okay, now if we want to say what is living, right, so certain features comes in our mind that makes us different from non-living organism. मैंने आपको ये बोला, if I want to define living, right, तो what comes in your mind? आपके माइंड में क्या चीज आएगी? How we are different from non-living ones, right? So here I have written some of the characteristic feature of living organism. You can see over here. Number 1 I have written is growth, followed by reproduction. Then I have written ability to sense environment and to mount suitable response which comes in our mind immediately. So these are some common characteristic feature of living organism by which we are different from non-living one. Okay, once again, number 1 is your growth, then is your reproduction, then I have written your ability to sense environment and to mount suitable response that immediately comes in our mind. Okay, if I want to add some more features to this, I can say metabolism, self-replication, self-organization, interaction and emergence are certain characteristic feature of living organisms, right, which is not present in non-livings. वापस से एक बार मैंने आपको ये बोला, if we want to make difference between living and non-living, right, So we can make this on the basis of this characteristic features: growth, reproduction, ability to sense and mount response, metabolism, we are having self-replication, self-organization, interaction and emergence. Now we are going to understand this characteristic feature one by one in detail. So first feature that we are going to study is your growth. Okay, now if I want to define growth, what is growth? Growth is nothing but increase in mass, or you can also say it as increase in number of an organism, right? So first point I have written, what is growth? It is increase in mass and increase in number, and these two are considered as a twin character of growth. It is considered as a twin character of growth. In the sense, you can define growth as increase in mass. Also, you can define growth as increase in number. If you are talking about unicellular organism, you people have understood binary fission. Yes or no? Yes. At the end of single binary fission, it results in formation of two new organisms. So this is also considered as a growth. इसकी वजह से मैंने आपको यहाँ पे ये बोला कि increase in mass as well as increase in number are twin characteristic of growth. Otherwise, I can also define it as a growth is irreversible permanent change in mass of an organism. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग मैंने आपको यहाँ पे ये मेंशन किया, irreversible permanent change in mass of an organism or an individual. Say for example, अभी आपकी हाइट इतनी है, if you want इतनी आपकी हाइट हो सकती है, no, right? So इसकी वजह से मैंने यहाँ पे क्या बोला आपको, it is an irreversible permanent change in mass of an individual. Okay, now we very well know that organism depending on number of cell are classified into two categories. Those who are having single cell are termed as unicellular organism. More than one cells are termed as multicellular organisms. So if we are talking about this multicellular organisms, right? So in multicellular organism, increase its mass by cell division. Multicellular organism जैसे कि हम how we are increasing our mass simply by cell division. आप आए तब इतने थे, right? इतने बड़े हो चुके हो आप. What is the reason behind the same? It is nothing but cell division, which is responsible for increase in mass of our body. तो यहाँ पे हमने बात करी multicellular organism की. Now I have classified growth into two types, as you can see over here. That is, number one is your definite growth, and second one I have mentioned over here is indefinite growth. What is the meaning for the same? The meaning is very simple. If we are talking about definite growth, इसका मतलब ये होता है कि growth occurs up to certain age. एक लिमिट तक ग्रोथ होता है, उसके बाद ग्रोथ विल स्टॉप. Whereas indefinite का मतलब क्या होता है? It goes lifelong. Okay, so here if you are talking about definite growth, this type of growth is exhibited by animals. Okay, so in this case, growth occurs to certain age, after which cell divides to replace worn out and lost cell, of course, right? We very well know that in humans, if I am going to give an example, we are formed from a single cell that is called as your zygote. Zygote कैसे बनता है? By fusion of male gamete and female gamete. Fertilization होगा, which results in formation of zygote. This zygote undergoes cell division, that is your mitosis. I hope you are familiar with this term, which results in formation of offspring, which is delivered out. Followed by which cell division होगा and आपकी growth होगी, आपका mass increase होगा. But this all occurs up to certain limit only. उसके बाद cell division होता है. मैंने नहीं बोला कि it will stop. Cell division होता है. When? कब होएगा ये? Only to replace your worn out and lost cell. Most important thing this is. Okay. So Definite growth is exhibited by animals. Now come to indefinite growth. If we are talking about indefinite growth, तो this is exhibited by plants. ये कौन exhibit करता है? By plants. What is the reason for the same? You people have understood, I guess, in your previous class. प्लांट्स के पास होते हैं मेरिस्टेमेटिक जोन्स, मेरिस्टेमेटिक रीजियंस, नाम सुना होगा आपने, राइट? एंड ड्यू टू दिस मेरिस्टेमेटिक रीजियन न्यू सेल्स आर कंटिन्यूअसली बीन एडेड लाइफ लॉन्ग. ओके, सो व्हाट आई हैव रिटन? ग्रोथ कंटिन्यूज थ्रू आउट लाइफ एज, क्यों? एज दे हैव, सी ओवर हियर आई हैव रिटन मेरिस्टेमेटिक एरिया. What is meristematic area? Meristematic tissue क्या होता है? Tissue comprises of cell, yes or no? Yes. And the actively dividing cell forms your meristematic tissue. वापस से एक बार, the cells which are actively dividing, जो cells का cell division होता है, that comprises your meristematic area, meristematic tissue बोलो, meristematic zone बोलो. If I want to give example, तो you people I have understood, I guess. For example, over here I am drawing plant. ये root system है, ये shoot system है. Okay, tip of your root, मान लो ये tip of your root है, यहाँ पे क्या present होता है? Root apical meristem. Okay, which continuously adds new cell. Over here comes your shoot apical meristem, right? Here continuously new cells are being added. Okay, so वापस से एक बार मैंने आपको ये बोला, ग्रोथ इज फर्दर क्लासिफाइड इनटू टू, डिफाइनाइट एंड इनडिफाइनाइट. डिफाइनाइट इन केस ऑफ एनिमल्स एंड इनडिफाइनाइट इन केस ऑफ प्लांट्स. हियर योर ग्रोथ, ओके, occurs up to certain age, where in this case growth occurs lifelong. Most important thing जो आपको याद रखनी है, this is due to presence of meristematic area. Do animals have meristematic area? यहाँ पे हमारे meristematic zone है? No, right? So animals do not exhibit growth throughout their life. Only cell division occurs to replace worn out cells and lost cells. Okay, now if we are talking about unicellular organisms, right? Once again, अगर आप बात कर रहे हो unicellular organism, this organism belongs to kingdom Monera. If you have understood 5 kingdom classification of our R.H. Whitaker. So most probably we are taking example of bacteria, right? Kingdom Monera. Monerans are nothing but your bacteria. Okay. So if we are talking about some unicellular organisms, so they grows by cell division. Most important thing, they grows by a process of cell division. And also cell division also means reproduction in them. Yes or no? So अगर आप unicellular organism की बात कर रहे हो, तो growth and reproduction means same only. Okay. For explaining this, for ease of your understanding, over here I have drawn one diagram. This is bacteria, okay, and मान लो this is bacterial chromosome. The portion which is in red color क्या mention करता है? Bacterial chromosome. Okay. Now, एक से दो बने, yes or no? Here I have drawn one bacteria which results in formation of 2 new cells. So increase in number is considered as growth. मैंने आपको definition आगे बोली थी. Now this is also a means of reproduction. What this is? This is nothing but type of asexual reproduction, and that is your binary fission. That is your binary fission. This is also a mode of reproduction. Okay, so reproduction as well as growth. Why growth? क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Increase in number of organism. Okay, so in unicellular organisms like your bacteria, if you are talking about amoeba, okay, so growth and reproduction ये दोनों process are same in unicellular organism. But if we are talking about higher animals and plants, okay, if we are talking about higher animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive. म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव का मतलब होता है सेपरेट प्रोसेस। इसका मतलब क्या होता है? द मीनिंग इज वेरी सिंपल, बोथ प्रोसेस आर डिफरेंट, सेपरेट प्रोसेसेस होती है किसमें? इन higher animals and plants. Whereas if we are talking about unicellular organisms like bacteria, your growth and reproduction means same. Okay. Once again, I have classified growth into two categories, as you can see over here, that is intrinsic growth and extrinsic growth. इंट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ को आप इंटरनल ग्रोथ भी बोल सकते हो एंड एक्सट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ को आप एक्सटर्नल ग्रोथ भी बोल सकते हो. नाउ वी आर स्टार्टिंग विथ योर इंट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ. एज द नेम सजेस्ट, इंट्रिंसिक मतलब इंटरनल. यहाँ पे जो ग्रोथ हो रहा है वो इनसाइड द ऑर्गेनिज्म हो रहा है, इंटरनली हो रहा है. ओके, सो बिफोर दिस, one most important difference between two: intrinsic growth is exhibited by living organism and extrinsic growth is exhibited by non-living organism. Yes, you listen right, even non-living objects can grow. That we will discuss later on. First we are going to discuss your internal growth, right? So ये कौन शो करता है? आपका living organism. So look what I have written. Living organism shows internal growth due to addition of material and formation of cell inside. You very well know that हमारी बॉडी के अंदर ही नए सेल्स बनते हैं. Apart from this, there is formation of certain material inside our body. Okay, so this type of growth which occurs by addition of material inside is called as intussusception. इसको क्या कहा जाता है? Intussusception. Okay, which is formed by addition. Simple as that. Now, what I have written, in living being, growth producing substances are of two types. लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म में ग्रोथ प्रोड्यूसिंग सब्सटेंसेस जो होते हैं आर ऑफ टू टाइप. नंबर वन, एज आई हैव रिटन, प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक, एंड सेकेंड वन आई हैव रिटन एपोप्लाज्मिक. ओके, सो हियर लेट्स सी व्हाट इज प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक सब्सटेंस. As the name suggests, protoplasm. So here we are going to talk about your cytoplasm and nucleus. So protoplasmic substances क्या है? They are component of living matters of cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay. What is apoplasmic substance? Now look, these substances are responsible for forming non-living material. Okay, this are nothing but non-living material formed by cell. Like examples मैंने यहाँ पे mention करे हैं, matrix of bone that we will understand later on. Then cartilages आपको पता होना चाहिए. Okay, cell wall तो पता ही होगी आपको. And one more I have written, fibers of connective tissue. क्या लिखा है लास्ट में मैंने? Fibers of connective tissue. All these are non-living material which are formed by cell. So this comes under your apoplasmic substance. वापस से एक बार, intrinsic growth कौन शो करता है? Living organism. How it occurs? By addition of material and formation of cell inside the body. Such type of growth क्या बोला हमने? Intussusception. Okay. Now ग्रोथ प्रोड्यूसिंग सब्सटेंसेस मैंने यहाँ पे दो कैटेगरी में क्लासिफाई करे, प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक एंड एपोप्लाज्मिक. प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक इन द सेंस लिविंग मैटर्स ऑफ साइटोप्लाज्म एंड न्यूक्लियस. एपोप्लाज्मिक सब्सटेंसेस आर नथिंग बट नॉन लिविंग मैटर्स विच आर फॉर्म्ड बाय सेल इटसेल्फ, जैसे कि सेल वॉल, मैट्रिक्स ऑफ बोन, कार्टिलेज, फाइबर्स ऑफ कनेक्टिव टिश्यू. तो ये क्या हो गया बेटा आपका? इंट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट एक्सट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, दिस टाइप ऑफ ग्रोथ इज एग्जिबिटेड बाय नॉन लिविंग आर्टिकल. कैसे? दिस नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स इंक्रीजेस देयर साइज बाय अ प्रोसेस ऑफ डिपोजिशन. उसके ऊपर क्या होता है बेटा? डिपोजिशन होता है, ड्यू टू विच उनकी साइज इंक्रीज हो रही है. And what is the definition of growth? You can say it as increase in mass and increase in number is growth, right? So increase in size is also considered as growth. So let's look this. Non-living articles can increase in size. जैसे कि मैंने आपके examples mention किए हैं, mountains, boulders, stone, crystals. Okay, why this occurs? Simple as that, due to addition of similar material on outer surface. एंड ये प्रोसेस को कहा जाता है एक्रीशन. ये प्रोसेस को क्या कहा जाता है? एक्रीशन. ओके, तो दिस आर योर टू टाइप्स ऑफ ग्रोथ, इंटरनल ग्रोथ एंड योर external growth. Now you people say me, can I say growth as a defining feature of living organism? ऐसा हम बोल सकते हैं कि growth is defining feature of living organism. True or false? Answer is false. What is the reason for the same? क्योंकि मैंने आपको यहाँ पे ये बोला कि growth is exhibited by non-living matter also, जिसकी वजह से growth is not considered as a defining feature of living organism. Last thing about growth, okay? So growth is chemically result of difference between anabolism and catabolism. Altogether you can say it as metabolism. We very well know that metabolic processes are classified into two categories, anabolic process and catabolic process. Anabolic process मतलब क्या? Synthesis process. And catabolic process माने क्या? Breakdown process. So growth is result of difference between this anabolism and catabolism. Okay, now we are going to understand three parameters. कब growth होगा, when it will be steady and when growth declines. Okay, so in first case, if anabolism exceeds catabolism, मतलब synthetic reactions are more than breakdown reaction, तो क्या होगा? Growth, of course. But if both anabolic processes and catabolic processes are same, are equal, right? So at that time there is no growth. वो time पे growth नहीं होगा, right? And last, if catabolic processes, मतलब breakdown processes exceeds your anabolic processes, that is synthetic processes, right? At that time there occurs degrowth or negative growth, right? So this is about your first feature of living organism, that is growth. And yes, if you people do not have textbook, you can download it from Google, right? And lastly, growth को मैंने क्या बोला? It is not defining feature. Why it is not defining feature? Because growth is also exhibited by non-living objects.